Okay, I'm Matini. This is me before the half marathon. I did not finish the race. So let's rewind back to early 2024. Sometime in February, I got notification on Instagram saying that we prepared the ballots for Bali Marathon is going to be open and best of luck and all of that, right? So I decided to sign up with a good friend of mine. There was two options, I believe. One was your first choice, and the second one was what is your alternative in the event you don't score your first choice. And I was determined it's 21 or nothing at all. So I chose 21, submitted my application, and just didn't think much of it. This was in, I believe, 19th of February. Yes, correct. So 19th of February, I submitted my application, and we just decided to take a chill. And little did I know, come March 25th, I actually got selected through the ballot selection, which is quite rare because it goes by probability, right? And the chances of me actually getting it was not high. I did not have my hopes high either. But when I got that WhatsApp message and also that email confirmation saying that you are selected to be part of this race, just ignited a fire in me in some ways. I was motivated, right? I guess for a long time I was looking for an inspiration on where can I channel all this energy, and I guess I just want to be focused and working towards something. I thrive in that space, and this race just gave me that purpose. So right after that, I decided to amp up my running more seriously. Previously, I was not that, I guess, focused in running. I didn't care about my pace, cadence, tempo runs, interval runs, long runs. I didn't really pay much attention to it. I just did what I wanted to. But now with this race, I had a reason to be more committed, right? So what I did was I joined a run club. His name is Jeffrey Ross. I just don't remember the run club name. I'm so sorry. But I joined that thanks to a good friend of mine who recommended. He said he runs in this club and everyone is very welcoming. So that was my first ever run club. I joined it, and so that is what you see on the board is basically everyone that participated on that day and our time taken to finish that loop. This was in LHDN, sort of that loop, in Malaysia. I'm quite slow. It's obvious. You can see it. I don't have to sugarcoat it. We all start somewhere. So my pace was really bad at the beginning. And here's a little clip of me actually running. Yeah. So as you saw in that race, my form was probably not right. And I know I'm criticizing myself too much here, but that was my baseline. That's where I was starting from, right? And I was determined that it's only upwards from here. So let's keep going. And then somewhere along the way, I decided to also do a 10-kilometer with my mom. So that's my mom. Big kudos to her. She is actually a legend when it comes to inspiration and determination and just getting up whenever life knocks you down. She was also a long distance runner in her early days, adolescence and in school, and she spoke a lot about running, and I guess that also instilled a bit of that need to okay, let's just go running. And I decided to ask her, do you want to go for a run/walk with me? And this was organized by BMW in 2024, a walkathon for 7 kilometers. This was in Kapong, I believe, in those really big parks. So we decided to sign up, and we went ahead and did it. It was like a mother and daughter sort of an event. Not event, but for me, it was an event with her. It was so much fun. We decided to train together, and some days we would walk together, and then we woke up really early and we stick together throughout this whole walk, and we completed it. So little journeys along the way, and I was making strides, I was making progress, I was happy with where I was getting, and everything was looking really upwards for me at this stage, really. Sometime in April, 28th of April to be exact, I was finishing my spin class, and as I came home, it was late. I got a call, and it was mentioning that my grandma had passed. So I call her Pati, right? And Sundari Pati was her name. We were very close. We were thick as thieves, and growing up, she was my favorite, and I'm also the oldest grandchild, so I was a favorite. And yeah, I guess it really broke me when I got the news that she had passed. If I were to talk about her and the life that she led, she was a refugee who came to Malaysia after marrying my grandfather, and then soon after, I guess, in her 20s or in her 30s, my grandpa actually passed, unfortunately. and she had to step up, be a single mom, and also raise the entire family. So I come from a family of grit, of resilience, and women that are just go-getters, and they just get things done. In my adult years, sadly, I lost a lot of time with my grandma. I don't know, it was maybe universities and colleges, and I just guess growing up, and I had other priorities and interests, and I just lost so much time with my grandma. And the last time I actually saw her was in the year before, which was 2023, Deepavali. And yeah, these are some tiny last moments and slash videos that I have of her. I don't want to share too much because that is a very private part of my life. But she was someone that lived through memories. Like there was a wall in her home just filled with pictures of her grandkids and just all of us in our childhood. And I guess that's her way of remembering us. And I want to remember her as for her fighter spirit, you know, for everything that she was unapologetic for and just being true to herself. And I don't know, when she passed, I took a really long time to recover. I worked through the grief. I went to therapy, and even running in some ways became my therapy because it was, I don't know, sort of like an escape. Yeah. So I enjoyed it. To distract myself, I also hired a coach. At this time, this is a snippet of what I was doing with my coach. We tried warming up drills. We were just getting into the proper way of running and forms and how to breathe and how do you run, how your foot should land, and all of that was happening at the same time. I was grieving about my grandma. So I would go for these long walks or long runs and shed a bit of tear and get emotional because I don't know, I guess a part of me missed her. And there's a lot of guilt and grief about not doing more, about not paying attention to the elderly that was slowly fading away. And here I am focused on relationships that actually don't matter, people that don't matter. And that was like a light bulb moment for me too. So yeah, coming back to this race, I was working through grief. Emotionally, it was very heavy. There were days where I just really didn't want to go out and do anything, but I forced myself to, I guess, just keep the momentum going, right? It's part of the grind. You got to get it done. And then probably saw that I fractured my toe. A little bit of a story time, right? I'll keep it short. So it was early in the morning. I was playing with my toe, made coffee, and I was walking towards the sofa, and I stubbed my right toe against the sofa, and that's how it broke. It's as simple as that, as unexpected as that. You know, I've stubbed my feet on that sofa multiple times growing up in my teen years. Nothing happened, but this particular day, it just fractured my toe. And here's a picture of that fracture. It's fractured outside. I don't know what's the medical term for it, but because the bone is hanging outside, you have no choice but to drill a wire into it to hold it in place together until your bones rework it. So that also means about 6 weeks out. Like you can't do physical activity, you've got to be in complete rest. Also, if you have a wire inside your feet, like what can you actually do? There's no covered shoes, there's very little things that you can do actually. Safe to say, like I was in a bit of a spiral because this is June and my race is actually in August. So if you do the math, right, there's really not much time left, and losing 6 weeks of training actually meant it's catastrophic. There is no way I could be prepared for a race in a matter of a few weeks. And I have to say it was a big, difficult decision to make, deciding to pull out of the race. But I did not sell my bib. For some reason, you see, life works in a very interesting way, right? I could have sold my bib, but I didn't. I chose to keep it because I wanted like a memory. That was something that I did not complete, like a work in progress or unfinished business. That's my intention. I was going to land in Bali. I was going to support my friends who were running, and I'm going to go there on a spectatorship headspace, right? Just show up in my best cheerleading outfit and just cheer them on, and that was it. So in this 6 weeks, I just want to talk to you about the weight gain that I experienced. I couldn't do much. So most of my life, I guess my day was just waking up. I stayed with my parents at the time, and then coming to the sofa and having my breakfast, very minimal movement, maybe walk about the living room, and then go back to the kitchen and help my mom maybe cut some vegetables, and that's it. It was very sedentary. And I have to say, for people who was used to being active, right, you have this build-up of energy that you need to, I guess, express. There was no outlet for it. Like, it was just very turtling. Like, you just had not much space on what you want to. There's no outlet for anything. I was having anxiety, and also keep in mind that I used my grandma's grief, and a lot of my coping mechanism was running. And if you remove all of that, it just felt like everything started hitting me at once. My grandma passed sometime in April, and this happened in June. So it's still very fresh. The wound is very fresh. The grief is very fresh. So I was just cemented with so much grief and emotional heaviness. It was a really dark time in my life. I don't know how I got out of it. Really, there were some days which I felt like it's so difficult and it's so heavy, but we got out of it. And at this point, I've accepted that Bali dream is not happening, and we are, I guess this is it, it's game over. I've slowly accepted it, right? So then we booked off our flights, and then we decided, okay, let's just go to Bali and have fun. If I'm not running, then at least let's just soak it all in, and then we'll come back and do a better race next year, which is this year, 2025. So I landed in Bali. The way we planned our trip was our accommodation was made intentionally close to the pickup points for the shuttle bus. So in that morning, we were doing a trial run, like just walking towards the I guess pickup point, and I was accompanying my friend because I just wanted him and to be aware of how it's gonna, where the bus is gonna arrive and what's the pickup point, and we were just doing a trial run. So as we were trying to figure out, okay, this is the pickup point that's mentioned in the race guide, we turned around and we saw, okay, there's a gentleman here, let's just ask him. There's a good chance he might be Malaysian. He does not look local. So we took our chance and we asked him. And his name was Chris. And I remember asking him, hey, any chance you're here for the Maybank Bali Marathon? And he said, yes, I'm here for the 21 kilometer, which is the same category as us. And he said, I'm also Malaysian. So it was all just a coincidence, right? A beautiful coincidence. And he invited us to brunch. He said, why don't you come over, have brunch? This is the spot, you're in the right place, but come over, just have a quick bite, and then off you go before you go and get your race kit. So he had already collected his race kit. And he assured us that the crowd is not too heavy at this time, so you can have a quick bite or a coffee and then you can leave. So me and my friend decided, all right, let's do it. So that is a picture of us having brunch. And I have to say that, yes, I wrote that I might do something risky after this conversation, and I decided that I'm going to run, you know, right after that surgery. That was the moment, and I captured it because I knew that I will look back at this moment. So I decided to run. Why? Let's talk about it, right? So firstly, this person that I was talking to, Chris, and he's a seasoned runner, and he was asking me about, okay, which category are you running? So I explained to him my situation, and I said, I'm not running. I'm just here to cheer my friend on, and I'm going to cheer every other Malaysian that is running in this race. And he said, oh, why not? But, you know, you're out of surgery, and do you still have any pain? And I told him that, no, I don't have any pain and I have recovered, but, you know, it's still a medical risk and I'm not cleared by my doctor and I'm just precautionary about it. He asked a few more questions about what shoes are you wearing, and I told him that I'm wearing New Balance, the more foam version 4, which is high stack shoe and it's very well cushioned. And he said that, you know, maybe you are in good hands. New Balance does really good shoes, and thankfully I trusted him because he was right. And he said, you know, you don't have to run, but think of it as you're just walking like you're late for your flight, you know, like you're running, but you're not actually running. You're sprint walking to catch your flight. That's what you got to do for 21 kilometers. And that should get you through the race. And, you know, everything just started to make sense. Like, all right, I actually did sprint walk my way to the airport and I did not feel any pain. I wore that shoe through my airport but, you know, my travel to from KL to Bali, and I experienced no pain. It was very comfortable. And somewhere in that conversation of 2 hours, I was convinced that, you know what, let's just give it a shot. At worst, I fail. But if I don't try, I already fail anyway. If I don't complete it, that's all right. At least I tried. I was never going to complete it anyway. So my mindset was, let's just do it, but no expectation. There's a good chance that I might not even finish it, and we'll just use it as an experience. Otherwise, I'm just going to sleep in and stay in hotel anyway. So just do it. So that was the pivoting moment. That was literally the flip of the light bulb for me. I decided I'm going to run. And then we ended up in Bali, at the race kit collection area, took it, and I have to say, Maybank Bali does a really good job with spoiling you with pre-race, I guess, goodies. They gave me energy gel. They gave me like a bottle of honey, which was, I guess, can be used as like a fueling kit. They also gave me a lot of balms, like, you know, the Salon Pass balm, which is after a race for like joints and aches and all this kind of muscular aches that you rub on. Yeah, they gave us that. I think 3 types of it. There was the cold cream and there was the hot cream. And then there was also Yoko Yoko, if I'm not wrong. There was a shower kit, there was deodorant, there was face mask, there was exfoliator, there was sunscreen, everything you need. So it almost felt like the universe just worked its way to say, maybe you can just give this a shot. Here's a surprise gift of like, okay, I think you can do it. So I actually ran my 21 kilometer just solely relying on that kit that was provided by Maybank to me. I did not have energy gels. I didn't pack any. I was lucky that I had a running vest by my good friend. He happened to bring 2. See, one of it, he said, why don't you use it since you've decided to run? So he gave it to me. So despite not being prepared, I had all the essential tools to actually get me through the front line, the start line. So yeah, we went to sleep that night, and I've decided, okay, I'm going to wake up and do this race. So come 3 o'clock, I think we woke up, and it was race day. And I remember having the nerves, the jitters, just moments before I even thought, like, am I really gonna do this, or just questioning my decisions, I guess. But I decided to do it. So I don't know how many times we saw a crowd, but of course they were dispersed in multiple water stations. But that was the spirit, you know, like kids decked out in their traditional costumes and just cheering "Semangat," which means what's the word? I don't know what's the English word, but yeah, just cheering us all, like get going, don't stop. Like that itself was energizing on its own, and just I guess little did I know I was next into my next kilometer, and I just kept going. So here are a few images of me captured through a professional photographer, of course, in several spots. There's a photo of me smiling because I just couldn't believe that I was doing it. And at this point, I think I was at least 10 kilometers or close to 10 kilometers in. So halfway through the race, and I was feeling no pain, you know. So take it from me, as someone that's recovered under less than 6-7 weeks of toe injury, New Balance really does a good job in the technology of shoes, right? I just want to put that out there. And so I continue with my race, and at this point, somewhere it just starts to rain. Yeah, so I believe it was kilometer 15 onwards when it just started pouring, you know? And I have not trained under the rain before. I have to say it was a magical experience. And can I say that 2024 so far has been a pretty unexplainable experience on its own, but just running in a foreign country, well, it's not foreign, but still, it's not my own hometown, but yeah, it is raining, and you have this spirit of people that's cheering you on, and everyone's looking out for you, and they're still taking care of you in some ways. Water station is still functioning. They're handing out bananas. They're giving out energy gels to make sure that you don't crash. And there's ambulance and just healthcare professionals and medics just everywhere, just looking out for you. It was a true moment of just bliss, you know, and you know you're in good hands. And the Indonesian, I guess, hospitality is just so incredible. You just soak it all in. I may have not mentioned this, but during this race, I was actually on my period. Yeah, I was on my second day period. So I was having cramps, naturally, but also I was wearing adult diapers because I can't be bothered to stop and change my pads. I didn't want to. I want to power through it. I just want to get this over with. So I wore an adult diaper. And as it started to rain, I was a bit worried. What if this soaks up, you know, the whole diaper, and then I start to leak, and there was bleeding, and I just didn't want all of that, right? But I decided to let life take its own path. You know, so far everything has been according to the flow. Nothing I planned has even worked according to what I imagined. So I'll figure this out, we'll just get through this. That was the goal. And at this point also, because I've not been training, my energy level just started to dip. My body was starting to feel a bit of ache, especially towards the lower half of my body, my knees, my calves, especially my ankles and my feet. Those were starting to give a lot of pain. So 16 kilometers onwards, it was downhill as well. So then it's a lot more easier, because once you're upwards, it's inclination, there's a lot more energy that you have to output. But when you're running towards the downwards of a hill, please forgive me if my English is not right. It's an easier path to run. That's what I'm trying to say. So leading up to the crossing line, which is about 20 kilometers, I start to become a bit anxious, because at this point, the clock is about 3 hours and 20 minutes. So I have roughly 10 minutes to cross the finishing line in order to qualify, And by qualifying, you mean you get a completion certificate, and you just get like a stamp of, I guess, completion from the organizers. I was a bit worried that I'm not going to be able to do it. And I think by kilometers 19 or even 20, it just became increasingly clear that, okay, that's really not going to happen. Let's just cross the finishing line, and if any, this was a good experience, right? So that's me at the crossing line of the race. Yes, I don't look ecstatic, but I also don't look sad either, because it's almost like the end of a journey for me. This race completed. I was pain-free. I completed the race while on my period, having cramps, recovering from a surgery, and all of this, and I still managed to get it done. So yeah, in many ways, I have to thank my body more than anything. I have nothing to complain about over here, right? So I crossed the line, and lucky for me, I was still entitled to my medal, albeit, I did not complete the race in time. But they still gave me a medal to take away from. So that was nice. This is me after the race. Yeah, that is me after the race. I completed literally in tears, sweat, blood, what else? I don't know. The whole mix of it. And it was a very emotional journey for me. Like, I still get my eyes teary when I talk about it, because that was a huge accomplishment. Let's be real. Like, I did not think I was going to do it. I landed in Bali accepting that I was not going to do it. And I had that medal in my hands. And it was a surreal moment. And I don't know. I'm not someone that gives credit to myself often. I tend to beat myself up a lot. But this moment was truly just a reflection that I actually completed it. Something I initially thought I was not able to do. I was not cleared to do. But I just took placed blind trust on myself and on New Balance, like I mentioned there, and just got it done. And yeah, for the days leading up to it, and the late days following, I was just in disbelief that I actually did it. I kept staring at my medal and thinking, wow, this is truly a moment to hold on to throughout my journey.